we're going to look at the third round of the 11th Mediterranean Championship, which I played from the 19th of June 2021 to the 26th of June 2021. In this round 3, I had 1.5 out of 2, so 1 win, 1 draw, and I was playing Aleksandar Savanovic, a player from Bosnia and Herzegovina. I'm not sure how you read that. That is sorry. 2400 IM. Let's see how the game went. I started with c4, which I employed quite a bit in this tournament. e6, knight f3, d5, g3, knight f6, bishop g2, bishop e7, castles, castles. I'm going through these moves quickly because this is actually a very topical line. I had checked that he plays this very often against the English, and so again I prepared quite a bit. Actually, in this tournament, I think I got quite lucky because I managed to almost never get out of book too early. Bishop b2, d4, takes, rook e1, knight e8, and you might notice, well, before this move, knight e8, you might notice this looks like a Benoni for white. Am I gonna sneeze? Am I gonna sneeze? Oh, I hate when that happens. Okay. This looks like a Benoni for white. The way the structure and this bishop here. But white actually has the white is playing the Benoni here, so he's a tempo up. But this is still a very topical line. Knight e8 is one of the moves. The other one, I believe. Well, I can't remember. Why can I not remember? Yeah, I don't know. Knight e8 is one of the moves. Oh yeah, the other one is rook e8, bishop f8, and e5. Knight e8 is one of them. Knight e5 is a good move. In the Benoni structure, white, well, in this case, white, wants to trade off as many pieces as possible because the endgame is actually very favorable for him. And that has to do not solely, but mainly with the fact that this pawn on d4 is very weak, actually, if you imagine all the pieces off the board. Even king endgames could be hard for black. So knight e5, takes. And he plays f6, rook e1, e5. This is one of the ways to play. Now, this is why the Benoni is so double-edged, is because white, well, again, usually black plays a Benoni, but in this case, white concedes a great deal of space to black. You can see this pawn, Eric Rosen would be very proud. This connect 4 is very menacing, but white does have this beautiful cutting-edge bishop on g2, and this rook is nicely placed, and he goes bishop a3, continuing to trade pieces, takes. Knight c7, knight c2, and rook b8 is an interesting move. I was prepared up until here, and I saw that knight e6, and sometimes knight c5, was a way to play this as black. He goes rook b8, and now comes the first mistake of the game, in my opinion. Queen c1. Better was d3, because, well, first of all, this is always a move that you play in the Benoni, just to sort of, put a stop to some advancements, which, spoiler alert, will happen in this game. But d3 is usually just a good move to hold a position, hold this pawn on c4, and you can think about going b4, or actually playing the plan I played. The idea of queen c1 is to go queen a3. Right? I want to go queen a3, and I wanted to activate on the queen side, which is where I have more space. I have this nice pawn here. So I wanted to go queen a3, threaten this pawn, maybe knight b4. But I had completely underestimated his next move, which is very good. Bishop f5. Now, the reason why this move is so good is I cannot go queen a3 because the knight would be hanging. I cannot go d3 anymore to stop the bishop's activity there. And what do I do, right? Well, I believe I'm forced to play knight b4, which I played in the game. But there's a very concrete problem with this. He goes a5, knight d5, and king h8 was a good move. And we are going to trade off these knights. And yes, I did say earlier that white wants to trade off as many pieces as possible, but under good circumstances. And here, I traded on c7. And these are not good circumstances at all. And black is actually much better here, because I have no play. The only thing I have going for me is this bishop. Which, sure, it looks pretty, but it doesn't do all that much. So I go queen a3, but this is merely a phantom move. It's not even a threat, because after b6, which is a good move again, rook ac1, rook bca is a good move. Black wants to go queen c5, trade the queens on c5, and eventually he gears up for b5. There's no way I can stop it, because I just don't have anything. I don't have any sort of counterplay. Now this rook bca move was also quite well played, because queen c5, which I was firstly more worried about, because after takes, I thought the same thing was happening, right? He has this beautiful pawn chain. He just wants to go a4, I thought. a4, takes, rook b2, and 0-1, right? But I can go f4, creating some sort of counterplay. Takes. And it's actually quite hard to get a4 off, because, funny enough, a4, I just take that. And when he comes with rook b2, I just start running. I can show that. a4, takes, rook b2, I start running. a5, takes one, a6, takes the other one, rook a1, he has to trade, and he's lost. He's lost because this bishop, in the end of the day, is the MVP, and a7, a8 is unstoppable. And it's actually quite hard to stop this whole pawn progress thing. So he rightfully played rook bc8, and I went queen b2 in order to try to go b4, which he stops. Bishop, and now I played bishop e4, which is already out of desperation, basically, because again, I don't have a move. It's crazy, but I don't have a move. If I go e3, let me remember what the problem was with this move. What was the problem? Well, one of the problems is after b4. Well, even if I can get b4 off, what am I threatening at all, right? And also that will weaken the c4 pawn. That there could be some bishop d3. But I went bishop b4, which I think is sort of an only move. And he takes. Maybe dropping the bishop back was interesting. Because as we'll see in the game, maybe this was not optimal. Takes. But the thing is that this looks very, very scary, because he goes f5, rook e2, e4. And he's got three little monsters mobilizing against my structure, against my position. And I still don't have any counterplay, but finally I can get some breathing room with d3. And this is a good move. It's a good move. It's sort of an only move. Actually, it's an only move. I'm just threatening to break his structure. And the problem is he really is ill-advised to take, because I go rook d2. And his pawns just crumble here. He cannot defend d3. I take. He cannot defend d4. I turn just rook cd1. So this is problematic. He played rook cd8. E3 also I thought was interesting. But I can just take. And after f4, just rook f3. And yeah, takes. And I think everything is fine. Even though my king is really, really feeling a little bit airy. This pawn on g7 is threatened with mate. And okay, I have enough pieces to defend, and I'm also a pawn up. But d3, rook c to d8 was a good move. just holding on to d4. And I played rook ce1, which I think is a good move. d4 might look like a free pawn, but the problem is it does not take back. I think f4 here would have been a very nice shot. And the thing is, he either wants f3, queen e6, queen h3, or he wants d3, d2 at the right moment. Also, I should mention, this is a typical sacrifice in the player that's playing against the Benoni to go e4 and after takes f4. This is very, very typical. And yeah, I got into some analysis. Rook d2, f3, queen c2, queen e6. And I think, for example, here I have to go queen d1 in order to meet queen h3 with queen f1. But he just takes on e4. And black is just doing way, way too good. So rook cd8, I go rook e1. And now I want to take. And it's different when my rooks are doubled. Because, for example, after f4, I can go e5 and then rook e4. And yeah, I'm exerting more pressure on his pawn, so eventually he does have to take. Rook fe8 was also there after it takes to go f4. But then e5 comes, and okay, here thankfully I have this move f3 against queen e6. f3 is a nice move. And there's really, from what I saw, again, I should also make this disclaimer. This game was extremely complicated, and all of these analyses are solely mine, with no checking from the engine. So maybe Stockfish just finds a brute way to break open my position here, but I couldn't find anything, and I think White is just doing all right here. He's surviving. Rook e1, he finally took on d3. But now rook d2 comes. But I'm still not out of the woods, because after f4 takes, f3 comes, and he has a very simple plan in mind. It's not that easy to get the queen to f1, if you think about it. You sort of have to jiggle around your pieces like the, what's it called, like the 15 square game or whatever, right? When you have like the 15 squares and you have to move them around in order to get, you know, the sequence of 1 through 15 in order. I played queen d2, which I think is a good move. Queen d7, queen d1. And the point of this is he cannot go queen h3 because f3 would drop. So he goes queen f5. But now h3, I believe, was a very good move. The point is that I'm going king h2 next. And I'm defending this. And it's remarkably hard for him to keep the steam on here. Because, you see, he cannot part with this rook to h6 because f3 would drop. And it's hard to get this rook across because d4 would drop. And the rook can defend laterally. So h3, I'm threatening king h2. Well, it's not exactly a threat. But yeah, I want to go king h2. But here he took on d3, on h3. Which I believe was very, very hasty. Queen h5 looked better. After king h2, h4 was interesting. Trying to open things up again. I would have to go g4, check, king g1, rook d6. And sure, I don't really think black has any advantage here at all. If someone is better, it's definitely white. But the position is still obviously complicated with all these pawns lurking around white's king. But he took on h3, which is just a big mistake. Because now I take on f3. Takes. He goes h6 because he's getting back rank mated, practically. And here a funny thing happened. Sort of a tragic comedy. Because, okay, I have been defending at this point for maybe 2 hours. And I have been very close to getting mated with f3 coming, you know, f5, e4, d4. And I just want to salvage the draw and get out of there, right? And so I got to this position and I was quite happy. But actually, after rook e5, queen c8, rook, queen d4. White is much better. White is actually just much better. And I didn't think about this during the game. I just thought, okay, I'm just gonna take the draw, rook d1, queen c8, and he offered me a draw, and I accepted. But this just goes to show how mentality, not mentality, but also the mindset you're in. If you've been defending for the last 2 hours trying to just make a draw, it's very hard that your brain can shift and start to try to find winning ideas, or even understand that you're better. After rook e5, I want to go rook d5 and just get after this pawn, round it up, and it's very hard for black to defend. I think black is in big trouble here. But I went rook d1, as I said, and after queen c8, we agreed to a draw. So obviously there's a lot of, technical takeaways in this game. I think my opponent played very well up until a certain point. Bishop f5 was a very, very fine move. And apart from the chess things I can take away from this game, also I have to take away the matter of being very rational and cold towards chess analysis. You cannot analyze with your heart, If I would have been in a cool state of mind and looking at this from the first time, I'd have went, well, white is better. Let's play for the win. But I was just not in that mindset at this point in the game. So that's also a very big takeaway to take from this game. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you soon with the 4th round. Peace out.